Welcome to a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. Click on Departments to see the Commissioners page, then click on View.
Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And good morning. This is the Board of Commissioners meeting for August 7th, 2019. We actually have two inspirational words this morning. The first is never hold grudges, and the second is from Toni Morrison. The function of freedom is to free someone else.
I'm having trouble with it.
I was.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, I don't know why it's not. Okay.
We're having
Trying
a
to
tape
start.
malfunction.
Having a little malfunction, but we're good.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it going. Yeah.
Sure, we can do that. And
Theresa, you look different today.
yeah, we also thought what we would do to begin the meeting, and my colleague had suggested, was just a moment of silence for the passing of Toni Morrison. And also, in that moment of silence, if we can reflect and remember those who lost their lives in Dayton recently, and also in El Paso, and hope that the violence comes to an end. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
All right. Investments,
So move.
Second?
any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Appropriations,
So move.
Second?
any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Transfers,
So move.
Second?
any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
There are no advances for today. Requisitions,
So move.
Second?
any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
There also is no travel for today. Bills,
So move.
Second?
any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Number 8, authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary sheet for employees within jurisdiction of Board of Commissioners.
That would be county county administrator. I gave you a promotion there.
I'll
No.
be anything you
No.
want me to be this morning, not a
Jim
problem.
Cornez.
Just don't ask me to be late for dinner, breakfast, or cocktails.
Okay. Cocktails. Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to, I have some things I want to talk about. We have dates for negotiations with the United Auto Workers. I want to talk more about that. I have a summary sheet, I have some potential hires at the collection center, maybe 911. I want to talk over that. Finalizing a real estate purchase. I want to talk over that. Also, two pending legal matters that I wish to discuss. And I also want Mr. Romanchek to join us on that. So he'll be coming down at our convenience. And actually, we have no appointments this morning, so it's going to be an early morning. But anyway, all of those topics are allowed under the Sunshine Act for executive session discussion. So I'd ask at the conclusion of our regular board meeting, say we go into executive session, we discuss those matters that I've outlined. Thank you.
Okay. Number 9, approve and waive the reading of the minutes for July 31st of 2019.
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Number 10, adjust salary for Elyria Municipal Court employees, which reflects the county's 2-5 share. James Ryder, bailiff, resigned August 2nd of 2019, and Garrett Lonaker, bailiff, effective August 5th at rate of $924.36 at a biweekly rate.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Number 11, reject all bids received for the Lorain County parking garage repairs and re-advertise notice to bidders. Notice is to be in the Chronicle on August 12th and 19th. Pre-bid meeting on August 26th at 9:30 a.m. and open at 2 p.m. on September 16, 2019.
So move.
Second.
You want to talk about this a little bit?
I would.
Yep.
We had just bid this in an urgency to try to get the work done early. I think we could have gotten it done, to be honest with you. The acceleration cost was big, but not that big. Even if we do it in the spring, excuse me, it appears to do it in a accelerated manner. The costs are going to be very similar. After weighing how quickly we had to start this summer and the potential obstacles that we could run into, which may delay us getting back into the garage at the end of the repair time frame, led me to recommend to the board that we not take advantage of possibly doing it late summer into the fall. Our window was going to be from the end of July to the beginning of November, maybe into the first or second week of November. I think, again, I thought it was doable under acceleration, running 2 shifts, emptying the garage completely. The one barrier was removing everybody from parking in the garage. I did accomplish a solution to that, which was working with the people at the mall. They were going to let us park all of our vehicles at the mall, and then we would shuttle from the mall. I just felt that while inconvenient to everybody at one location gave me one shuttle, one location back and forth, which was better than 5 locations all over downtown, and sometimes a little further out from the downtown area. Now, that's not going to be pleasing to any of the employees whatsoever. It's not going to be pleasing whenever we do the garage, because right now we're down 100 spaces and we're going to lose another 325 when the garage is repaired. There's absolutely no way at present thinking I want to go through the misery of the last time with the shoring and trying to drive around the shoring and the construction and the time it takes to do that. And I felt that the repairs weren't as easy as they should have been, and led to some things that maybe didn't last as long as they should have, because we were trying to work around vehicles and traffic and so forth. So I still believe it's necessary to empty the garage completely, to have a free span working area, and the acceleration is going to be, it costs some more money. If we didn't accelerate, we'd have the garage closed for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. We're trying to only have it closed for 3 months. So before the bid gets advertised, I just want to look at that too. I want to look at how long it has to be closed, and the acceleration. I want to do it a couple different ways. I need to talk to, I want to delay the package just a couple more days to make sure we get more options in the bid.
What about evening, nighttime work?
Well, they're going to run 2 shifts.
Okay.
That's
accelerated.
the
To
acceleration
accelerate it,
cost.
yeah.
When you have to run a second shift, there's obviously different costs included, well, with additional lighting and staffing and so forth. The other problems with doing it now, if we ran into any unforeseen conditions,
Weather.
well, if the weather closing faster than anticipated, because it's concrete repair, if it gets colder sooner than anticipated, or unforeseen conditions could be we get inside the concrete and we have further damage than is suspected, and additional repairs than is suspected, that could delay things. There's not a lot that I thought would delay us, but there could be a few things, and we can't get it done. That's it. We're shut down for the whole winter. We don't have the garage back. I only need to remind you what happened with the parking lot over at the transportation center about 10 years ago, when we were getting ready to open and we couldn't finish the parking lot because the winter closed in, and the parking lot on Broad Street remained unfinished while we were doing the ribbon cutting at the transportation center because they couldn't lay concrete. if you can get the concrete down during the day, even when the temperatures drop at night, you can put thermal blankets on that, and you can continue to do that. But we couldn't get it frost-free and get the ground in a suitable condition to lay the concrete, even to put thermal blankets on it. Also, if you remember, it was 3 years ago we were laying the concrete along 3rd Street, and we lost the temperatures out here also, but we were able to get the ground in a suitable condition where we could lay the thermal blankets in the evening and through the night, and we were able to pour concrete during the day. So I mean, there is ways of doing that, and there's additives that can go in the concrete that help that during the colder months. But you have to have a suitable ground to lay the concrete to begin with, and that kind of concrete pouring up in the air. I mean, they could actually curtain it. They can bring in propane heaters and try to heat the space and so forth. But all that runs up costs. It runs up possibility of change orders. And of course, we had basically 10 days to empty the garage and move everybody, which presented some other challenges,
So this will
including
mentally prepare them going into
right,
next year.
including moving all the
All of us.
All of us, yeah.
including moving all the fleet of vehicles that are parked in the garage. Everybody thinks it's just county employees parked in there, but there's about 70 county fleet vehicles. Children's Services is a big user because they bring the children in and out of that garage. We make it as convenient to the locations of the doors they can. Guardian ad litems use those spaces. There's a lot of things that go on with children and young folk that we need to make arrangements for. They're not going to be able to bring them in from the mall on a shuttle bus.
Right.
So all those things have to be figured out, and where we're going to park them, and of course some of that's going to end up in the public lot. That's going to have some restrictions over there. So I got to figure out the public component of how we still support the public activities that are going on in downtown. I just didn't feel that a complete solution was at hand in that rapid a time frame, plus the ability not to be able to stretch past the weather in November. If we start in the spring, we have a couple additional months. If we run into some problem areas, I didn't think that we had enough breathing time. And I've been assured by the engineers that the deck is not going to fall down to another winter. We're going to do a little shoring in the back, and I want to get that underway here shortly. And the cost will be similar on a rebid. Plus, the people that bid are not going to have to do any additional work to rebid because they've already done, the walkthroughs and the engineering. None of it's going to change. So I don't like causing vendors to have to do a lot more work because it costs them money to do this. And I think we decided that anybody that picked up the packages before, we're just going to make the packages no cost this time to the people that picked them up before.
Good.
So that we don't, it's just fair, it's just right. Because we're rejecting the bids due to some concerns on our part.
Right.
How old's the garage again?
I think it was built in 72.
72.
So,
Wow. Talk about stretching the dollar. Yeah.
well,
What's our projected lifespan of the new construction?
what
are we thinking?
We're hoping to get through this without another round of major repair for about 5 to 8 years. Wow. Maybe. It's an old structure. When you get to this age on these type of structures, recognizing that major proper repairs didn't start on this garage until the early 2000s. Before that, it was a bunch of ad hoc in-house repairs that actually damaged the garage more than it helped the garage. It should have had ongoing repairs beginning in the 80s that were done in a proper manner. Sometimes the best intentions lead to some bad results. Things like waterproofing on the top deck, membrane proofing, seal replacements, because the garage came in pre-stressed pieces, and there's watertight seals and membranes between those pieces that I remember coming in '93 and they were all shot. Water was running down between them, and it was infiltrating the concrete, and it was spoiling the concrete, and nothing was being done about that even in '93 when I got here, and it was deteriorated then. So, without the proper maintenance and upkeep of those structures, they accelerate the deterioration. But even that said, those structures are still going to be deteriorating on an ongoing basis. Plus, there was no washdown system. The salt that carries in on the vehicles is a huge problem. And there's really no way outside of bringing hoses in to flush those garages out and get all that salt out of there and ash that comes in with them. And if you notice, a lot of the newer parking garages, they don't leave the tops open much anymore. They try to get a better weathering condition on them than just open-ended if they can.
Ask that, or we want to put a canopy up there?
It's just too costly. The structure isn't really designed for it. And they're so expensive to build now, parking garages. They run about anywhere from $22,000 to $26,000 a spot.
So Jim, for the public, because it sounds like such an enormous effort to repair it, and it doesn't have very much longevity, versus what is the cost to replace a parking garage?
Well, I got my calculator right here,
Okay,
I think.
because I know we visited that, but that's just not even a possibility.
You know, as it stands right now, if you have 425 spots, and we'll take an average cost of $25,000.
But we talked about if we were going to replace it, we would actually add spaces.
Right, so you're looking at probably, if you don't even add spaces, without demolition, without relocation, without repairs to the back of the building, because the garage is,
Right.
you're looking at $11 to $12 million for the same size, and that's not taking into account the limitations of where we are. We would have to relocate the Journal's parking. That's a Journal, good. The Chronicle's parking in the back. Because the garage.
Don't come for our parking lot.
That's a long commute.
Well, you guys are in the old McDonald's building, so up there on the lake. But you got the views though. We would have to relocate their parking. There's no doubt about that back there because the wall is right on the property line back there. The alley parking would have to be all relocated. So between the demolition, relocation, all that cost, our estimates are somewhere in the $15 million range for a complete project cost. And that's not adding a lot more spaces. It was thought that if you're going to do it and you're going to get 30 years out of the garage, you would probably build for about 600 spaces. Use the alley portion not the alley itself, but the portion that abuts the alley where the garage is. So if you put 600 spaces or even 650 in there, you're talking just for the garage without site conditions, you're talking about 16,500,000 thereabouts, and it's round math. But then again, you got all the demo. That's not including all the demo, site conditions, and relocation of parking. And the list goes on. There's also utilities that run in that area that we just park on off the alley there. And then, of course, the back of this building, the way it's sculptured with the parking deck, because the building goes down in the back. It was designed for that parking deck. As you know, it's subterranean in the back of this building. So there's a lot to consider with doing that. Why build a parking deck that's not sized correctly for our service and commitment right now? Replacing it, yes. Replacing it the size is no. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's the last thing I really want to spend money
Yeah.
on, but,
I understand.
But you can only get so much service out of it, and we're just trying to extend it another 5 years, I guess. So,
I've been assured we'll get at least 5 years from repairs before we have to look at another major round of repairs.
Okay. Any further discussion? Mr. Lundy,
aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Number 12, under Job and Family Services, authorized purchase of service agreement with Murray Ridge Production Center in Elyria in the amount of $17,472 for cleaning services for fiscal year 2019, effective retroactive to February 1, 2019 through January 31 of 2020. Authorize the director to execute and amend for the changes in the programming content with prosecutor's approval as to form.
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Number 13, under Board of Elections, create Fund Number 2040, Elections Infrastructure Security Assessment, Grant Fund. This fund is for grant monies received from the Ohio Secretary of State to implement high-priority security requirements set forth in Directive of 2019-08.
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Okay. Number 14, under engineer, approve a cooperation agreement with Pittsfield Township for costs associated with waterproofing the Kipton Nickel Plate Road Bridge number 0270 in the amount of $47,956. The waterproofing of the structure had failed and needed replaced, and Pittsfield Township was awarded a round of 33 OPWC funds for a project adjacent to the bridge, and waterproofing was placed as an alternate. The bridge is a county structure. The county engineer is responsible for the cost, therefore will reimburse the township all of the costs associated with the bridge waterproofing and will be paid from account number MVGT.
So move.
Second?
Any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Number 15, under the sheriff, authorize sheriff to dispose of Sig Sauer .40 caliber semi-automatic handguns that are no longer needed because new federal standards recommend different caliber and are outdated and unfit for public use. In accordance with Ohio Revised Code 307.12B1, authorizes the sale of personal property valued at less than $2,500 at private sale without advertisement of public notification.
So move.
Second?
Any discussion?
I know the major's here. Major Barker, do you want to add anything? Or if you come up to the podium, just give us a quick education, I guess, on this. I know we talked a little bit about it the other day. Didn't mean to catch you off guard there. I figure we'd take advantage of your knowledge and insight. It's always helpful to educate the public.
Well, what we have, I did the numbers, I looked at it. We have 82 service weapons that are out of service now. We have transitioned to a Walther 9mm weapon. There's federal results, federal tests shows with the improvement in ammunition, the 9mm round has basically the same ballistic power as the .40 caliber round. What also through those testings they have found is a 9mm caliber is much more accurate. There's less recoil, quicker back on target, and much more control of the projected rounds. We've witnessed that with our transition also. Our officers, their targets are much more condensed in their mass, the bullet size. What we would like to do is we have the sole vendor for the Walther weapon is Vance Law Enforcement. Vance Law Enforcement will purchase our weapons back at the estimated value is $310 for the 226. We have different type of weapons. There's a 226, which is a full-size duty weapon, a 239, which is a compact that detectives typically carry. Vance's will pay us $300 for each of the 239s, $310 for the 226s, and we have 4 unissued 226s that they said they would give us $360 for. Now, most of these weapons are engraved with the sheriff's logo and a star on them. So as mementos, the deputies would like to purchase these weapons back as for themselves. The deputies will pay the same price that Vance was paying, and any weapons that the deputies do not purchase back or deputies do not purchase back, Vance will then take whatever's residual guns and then they'll sell them. They're going to sell them out of their stores. So that's what we're looking to do.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought it was important for everybody to know we're going to actually get some return on those
Absolutely.
that are sold.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, any further discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Okay, public comment, and if you please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Mr. Phillips, good morning.
You missed him yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
Gerald W. Phillips, 461 Wynwood Way, Avon Lake, Ohio. I'd like to comment about the proposed county building department. Are there any documents that have been as far as a draft, as far as the setup, the organization, or the structure? And if so, who would have them? And how would I get copies of them? Is it set up so that the townships either opt in or opt out? Has the county hired a consultant or a planner to assist it in connection with this process? If so, I'd like to look at whatever contract has been done with this outside consultant. I understand that this is something that has been previously discussed. I'm not sure when it commenced and how long, and if there's been previous public hearings, public comments, public input concerning this. Have any citizen groups been involved in the process in the various townships that are going to be affected by this? I mean, obviously, it's not going to affect cities in Lorain County like Avon, Avon Lake, North Ridgeville, Elyria, because they have their own building departments, and this is purely a county functions that deals with the townships, just because of the statutory setup of how townships have limited powers concerning zoning and building and things of that nature. Has the Township Association been involved? Any input from them as far as the membership? I understand all the townships are a member of an organization. And if so, have they been contacted in connection with the fact that this is being proposed, so that they get advance notice, so they can be here on August 27th at 5:30, and then on October 1st at 9:30. Those are the two public hearings I understand that have been set up for it. You know, it reminds me of a situation in Avon Lake. They went out and bid for trash, and they didn't have any meetings with the citizens. And then they had a meeting after the contracts were awarded, and they didn't provide for a senior citizen light garbage can that everybody has, and they sent out the bid specs, and Kimball got the bid specs, but they didn't bid that senior container, and yet they provided in other communities. So I think, you know, you really need to get the input if you want this to be sold to the townships. You need to have citizen input. You need the townships involved. You need professionals like me to be involved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's got his own timer on. That's pretty good. Oh, come on up. Go.
Good morning, Jennine. If you just
Good morning.
give everybody your full name.
You
and-
know me. Good morning. And thank you for the invitation to come and speak. My name is Jennine Donaldson. I'm the Executive Director of the YWCA of Elyria. And I'm here this morning on behalf of the Fair-Minded Coalition of Lorain County, and it is a committee of the YWCA. I'm here to actually thank the commissioners for their persistence in attempting to get the Fair Board to change their policy as it relates to selling the Confederate flag at the Lorain County Fair. I stress selling because the issue for our coalition is not one of freedom of speech. We believe that if someone comes to the fair and they're wearing a Confederate flag t-shirt, or if I go to someone's home and they have a Confederate flag there, I probably won't go back, but if that is their prerogative, that is what America is about. However, the fair is about being family friendly, and it's about being in a welcoming environment. And particularly in this day and age, we don't think that symbol, the flag, represents that. When I say I'm here on behalf of the Lorain County Fair-Minded Coalition, some of the folks that have adopted our position on this, it's not just the YWCA, but it's organizations like the Coalition on Hispanic Issues in Progress, which we know is CHIPS. It's the NAACPs of Elyria, Lorain, and Oberlin. It's the Lorain County Democratic Party. It's the Lorain County Community Foundation, the Lorain County, formerly Board of Mental Health, the Negro Business and Professional Women of all three communities. It's numerous churches, including here in Elyria, Washington Avenue Christian Church and Second Baptist Church. It's the League of Women Voters. It's 100 Men of Lorain County. It's the Ambassador Brothers of Lorain County. And when you put all those folks together, that is Lorain County, and it's very representative of the kind of inclusiveness that we want to see at the county fair. And my final point is that if you pull up the policies from the Fair Board on concessions, item 1 on their concessions policy for all concessionaires is, under no circumstances will items of a questionable nature be in any manner tolerated on fair grounds or in fair buildings. And again, particularly in this day and age, the Confederate flag is definitely objectionable and questionable. Thank you.
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Others wishing to speak? Hi, Theresa. It's okay, take your time. Take your time. Just state your name.
Theresa Shay, 519 East Avenue, to the commissioners and appointed and elected officials. I have recently been encouraged by a county employee to not give up coming here and asking commissioners and staff for buses and trains in Lorain County. I am not a scapegoat for comments made from other people. I spoke about the Greyhound bus situation last time, but I was not speaking about the bus company's deficit, but about the people who are using the bus and their dilemma. When I asked for trains, I was talking about citizens of Lorain County, your voters and the people you are supposed to represent, need for passenger trains. The train company, Greyhound Bus, are tools for you to use. So we need people taking care of those who need transportation. Take care of them. Put up a welcome to Lorain County sign, not big, and make a small shelter and hire someone to be there, not for the bus company, but for us. Good security and a bathroom for bus riders and extra eyes on the transportation center. Gesture of goodwill, like the Elyria Fire Department is doing to help people. No profit margin like the trains, but what pays for adult probation? Is that a profit-orientated business or a service to the county? Transportation is expensive, as is treatment and aftercare for the junkies. I have a right to ask you for more buses that run often. People who wait 2 hours for a bus, where even Salvation Army recently closed and now reopened their bathrooms at the store. Most public bathrooms are at the mall, not here. Do you know what that's like? Take a bus, shop somewhere other than the mall, wait 2 hours or more, and then ride the bus. No bathrooms. When I lived in Hollywood, there were no public bathrooms and a homeless population. It was terrible. It built my awareness. When I say buses run every 2 hours, it is for the larger streets. I have no idea how often the buses on my street run because I see one every couple of months. You would be better off creating a solid bus station for travelers, a train that connects us to other places, and an armada of buses to see Lorain County into the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name.
I'm Pat Serio. I live at 82 Pile Road, Oberlin, Ohio. I'm here to echo what Jennine said about the Lorain County Fair and selling the flag there. I was out in California about a week ago with my son, and we were about to go to the Gilroy Garlic Festival, but my granddaughter slept too long. So had we gone as intended, we probably would have been there when the shooter was there. I think that selling the flag at the fair invites hate groups to congregate there because it's a symbol of hate. So I think for the safety of all Lorain County residents who do go to the fair, it's important to ban those type of hate symbols. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to make public comment this morning? Okay. Seeing none. Janice?
Okay, Mr. Cordes.
Jim?
I yield to council.
Mr. Innes?
I do have a couple of pending litigation matters to discuss in executive session. And if you don't mind, I'll answer a couple of Mr. Phillips' questions. We do have a consultant on board, and we'll get you that contract. I don't think anything specific as far as the documents has been.
There's a public hearings are scheduled, and that's the time to talk
Right.
about the building department.
Right. So the public hearing, and we did schedule those for.
He's got the dates of them.
Right.
You mentioned it.
Yeah, and we did specifically set the first hearing for the last week in August when.
After the fair.
After the fair.
In the evening.
Evening hours to make it accessible
Right.
for people. And Jerry, there is no opt-in. We used to have an opt-in, opt-out thing, but the state has put the nix on that, so you just can't do that anymore.
Okay. Thanks, Jerry.
Mr. Monty, do you have any?
Oh, we'll start with Lori.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Am I
Okay.
okay?
No, very good.
I'm used to him going first.
Yes.
So,
Well, Monday, we had a carpenter ditch viewing. Commissioner Sweeta got a taste of that. We had a lot of residents that came out to hear about the project, and they were very frustrated due to years of flooding, and they were very skeptical about the process. But it's my hope that the plans that the engineer's office have will help with the necessary drainage to help alleviate the flooding that's going on there and has been going on there for quite some time. Tuesday, we had our Maple View ditch meeting. We weren't unable to move forward on this until we get additional information from the engineers in the Stormwater District. And then following that, we had a hearing about our county's subdivision regulation changes. And these regulations have not been updated for a very, very long time. And I just want to thank Kristen Brandon, who has put a lot of time and effort into this. Also Don Romanchik, and it's a good collaboration with the engineer's office, and we had good dialogue yesterday with a few of the developers that came to express some issues that could arise from some of these changes. I also wanted to mention that we're all part of the Transportation Improvement District. Used to be that we automatically got $250,000 a year. Now it's competitive, and we did get some money. We got $43,000 for construction for Transportation Drive, and we got another $200,000 in construction for the widening of Nagel Road. So good job from the engineer's office that helped us get that those additional dollars in Lorain County. And my voice is going.
Wow.
So
Was that under the TID?
yeah, transportation.
They got two projects.
Right.
Right.
So we got the light up in, did you mention that
The
one too?
Transportation Drive, yeah.
Yeah,
The light for
yeah.
Transportation Drive.
And
which
then-
is gonna maybe be, I don't know how that's gonna work since the
I'm a little
lighting
concerned,
are so close together.
I'm a little concerned with another light
Yeah.
there at Transportation Drive. You already have a very short distance
Yeah. from
between
Route
the
2.
other lights, Route 2, two of them on Route 2 there, and you stack pretty well there already.
Yeah.
This one's got such a short distance there.
Hopefully, if they're timed right, it might work, but yeah, they're very close together.
And a lot of people get off of the 2D ramp there, and they're in the wrong lane to begin with, because you have that turn lane, and they end up in the turn lane. They don't realize, if they're not familiar with the area, and they're trying to move
Merge.
left in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how they work on all of that over there. We need to keep a close eye on that. While it's nice to bring the money back to work on the project, they definitely need to do some real heavy thinking about what they're doing with those lights there.
Yep. End of my report.
Okay. I'd like to send out our sympathies this morning to the family of Joe Vajentic. Had a chance to attend his funeral yesterday over at St. Mary's. Very active in the Elyria community, especially in the Catholic Church here in Elyria. He is a former teacher of mine, and I always tell the story about the toughest final exam I ever had in high school and in college was his final exam in bookkeeping. It was like an hour and a half, almost 2-hour exam, and you had to go through all the steps and calculate everything and balance everything, and it was
computers.
yeah, exactly. Boy, I got to tell you, it was painful, but nonetheless, just a great teacher and a good man. He was also a football coach over at Avon Lake High School and also with Elyria Catholic, and the church was packed the other day, so just he will be missed. Obviously, a lot of us reflecting today about the life of Toni Morrison, the Nobel Prize in Literature winner, also a Pulitzer Prize in Fiction, and a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She passed away this week at the age of 88, and I know we've had some discussions amongst ourselves about looking at maybe next week having a special resolution passed that would recognize each February 18th, the date of her birth.
That's my birthday, too.
That's your birthday.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Nice.
As Toni Morrison Day in Lorain County, and I think that would be a appropriate thing to do at this time, and but she had certainly quite an impact on our culture. She always told it like it was. Sometimes people don't want to hear what she had to say, but she definitely told it like it was, and certainly has had a lot of impact on a lot of people through all of her writings throughout her career.
Oh, don't forget, it's also Dawn's birthday, too.
Dawn's birthday.
We all share that
Wow,
birthday.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Okay.
it's a very special day.
Very special day. And congratulations to everyone who worked on Best of Lorain County. That was just an amazing event as always. And, everybody I talked to there kept saying, geez, it just is always, so full. The room's always so full here. And I would say because it's one of the most popular events. But, here in Lorain County, we kind of had grown out of some things. But still, the thing I love about the college location is it's just central. Everybody knows how to get there. Everybody likes going there. They feel safe there. They feel comfortable there. And but it was another very, very good event. I think I barely got in the door, and I had everybody trying to, bribe me with candy or whatever it was, to earn their vote or get their vote. But, literally barely got in the door.
Yes.
And I was hit up right at the door. But also want to congratulate the Office on Aging for all the amazing work they do. They had a steak fry on Friday. I wasn't able to attend, but they do amazing work. Also put out a very good monthly publication for seniors. Over the weekend was at the Crushers game, and the Frontier League allows you to have a celebrity player, I think, twice a year. The player is only allowed to bat 3 times, doesn't play in the field, but in the past it was Travis Hafner, and this past weekend it was Coco Crisp, who had a chance to vote 3 times. Or had a chance to bat, rather, 3 times. First time, it was called out on strikes the first time. I think he was trying to get comfortable there. But second time, had a base hit, and then the third time, he grounded out to the third baseman deep in the hole. But still, he's in great shape. He runs really fast. He even attempted to steal a base, but there was a hit and run, and the ball was foul. So otherwise, believe me, he would have had the base stolen. So it was pretty cool. The crowd really enjoyed it, and I think he enjoyed it as well, too. Coco Crisp is like 39.
It's not old.
Yeah, he's 39.
No.
He's young.
That's not old.
Yeah, compared to us old timers up here, right? He's still a young guy, but I think I just read when I was looking him up online, I think he sold his $9 million house in California to buy another house in California. So I think Coco's doing okay. So enjoyed the St. Peter's Festival in Lorain. Always great people over there, good food, and just a good atmosphere. I had a chance to sit down and talk with some of the ladies who wanted to know some of the things we were doing in the county and how we were working with the city of Lorain. Wanted to make sure we're earning our vote over there. So she, a couple of them were just really great to talk to. So it was a lot of fun. Joel Arredondo, we always love Joel and the great work that he does in the city of Lorain. And
Good
then
food at
yeah.
Mexican Mutual.
great food, always great food. It's
Full
just
house.
one of my favorite places to go to. People are always just so friendly, and it's a nice, light, entertaining atmosphere. And then, yes, we had the Carpenter Ditch viewing the other day in Eaton, and welcome to the new member of the team, finding out what ditch viewings can be about.
I heard you
but
had a lot of fun.
yeah, but there's
did.
a lot of good questions,
Didn't
and
know it was a friendly crowd.
we have some serious flooding issues in the area, and we're trying to help resolve those. And so there's some cost involved there, but we're trying to do what's best for the neighborhood and the community through there. And I'm sure eventually everyone will get on the same page. It beats wading boots and breaking out the canoe every once in a while. So that completes my report.
And I lived in a property where we had a ditch that flooded, and we were the runoff source, so I kind of know ditches. But it was a good week. We had the Best of Lorain County, as was mentioned, the Office on Aging Steak Fry. It was their first annual, but they filled up the house nicely. That's a big hall, and it was well attended. Garford Arts was Saturday evening, I think. Another good event here in Elyria, well attended. St. Peter's Festival, Hungarian Reform Festival, both had good crowds given the heat and the weather conditions. I think that doesn't stop many. I attended the meeting to clean up South Lorain this Saturday. They're looking for more volunteers. They're making a huge effort to basically focus in on Pearl and 28th Street. But all the tools, the props are going to be there. If you can join us, that would be great. Yes, the ditch review, I'm hoping we're going to get some solutions for the folks over on Henwell. I remember those properties flooding years ago, and I know that they would welcome any kind of relief on that flooding. Subdivision regs, that's something that's kind of in my background, so I understand the pros, cons, and the good work that we're going to provide by updating those. Joelle Arendondo's birthday bash was indeed well attended. This evening, I will be attending the MOVE meeting with several local mayors and other folks for transportation. So for Ms. Shay, it's a big thing. It's, as I keep saying, it's like eating an elephant. You got to take one bite at a time. And transportation's not going to be quickly or easily resolved, but at least we have a lot of folks in the community who still are working towards a solution on the transportation and adding what we can. But all of that, it was a normal week in Lorain County, and I think that most Lorain Countyans have filled their week with leisure activities and work, just like any other week. And we were fortunate because we're more fortunate than El Paso or Dayton. Those are communities where their routine was disrupted and changed forever. The lens in which they look at their community will never be the same. And it's times like that we have these knee-jerk reactions. There's calls for stricter gun control, greater mental health resources, eliminate violent video games, and I think it's important to remember there's no one solution. I am an advocate for sensible gun reform, but it's not going to guarantee there aren't future attacks. We need greater mental health provisions, and yet many of these homegrown terrorists aren't even deemed mentally ill. So I know that classifying these one thing I do know, if we'd classify these horrific attacks as terrorist attacks rather than lone wolf, it's going to provide a greater sense of safety when we're reaching into these white supremacist black web sites where the hate groups and the supremacists lurk. The efforts to end the violence needs to reach to those folks that are enhancing and promoting and inciting individuals who are maybe on that edge of committing a hate crime. And if we were to revisit the classification and classify these evildoers as terrorist attacks, then those folks are now going to be conspirators. And we'll be able to possibly reach through to those websites, bring some of those groups down, and they become co-conspirators rather than just cheerleaders of evil doing. So my prayers go out to El Paso and Dayton, all their victims and families, but also for us, that we aren't the next community that we can continue to survive without those kind of attacks within our communities. We can be safe. We can work daily to find more reasons to love than hate, and hopefully we can find the wisdom and the strength to end this violence. Thank you.
Amen. That's good, Terry.
You know, the governor rolled out, several proposals, especially the red flag for those dealing with mental illness issues and, the background check issues. And, it's all about safety for the community, safety for our kids. And I just, growing up, I don't, for those of us who are older, I don't think we ever remember going to school being worried about somebody shooting us in the school environment, getting
Or
shot
lockdowns.
in church, lockdown situations. But having served in Columbus, I have to admit I'm not very optimistic. Unfortunately, the legislature has been reducing guidelines, restrictions, and laws as it relates to gun safety overall. And in fact, I think the governor even said he still supports not having to go through the training for the concealed carry and the proper paperwork on that. So I don't know what it's going to take to get a shift in how we approach this whole issue, but something has got to change, and as the public in Dayton said, do something. Something's got to be done. So I would just urge you to write your state representatives, your state senators. I saw a lot of them use the standard response that they're still studying or reviewing the issue, not really taking any position on it. And I can tell you, the folks down there in Columbus are very afraid of the gun lobby. They don't like to do anything to upset the gun lobby down there. So it's going to be a very steep mountain to climb. But the representatives and the senators know that you're the ones who vote for them. So they need to hear from you. That's the only way you're going to probably make any progress. But something, as has been pointed out, something has to be done.
Well, and you mentioned in your report that when we talked about the best of Lorain County, feeling safe, that we feel safe there. How long will it be before in our community we don't feel safe? And I agree that this growth in this hate crime, hate factor, we've got to get a grip on it. It's out of control, and when somebody can engage in a senseless act of murder and not be deemed mentally ill, but just filled with hate, that's very poisonous.
Well, just the assault rifle itself. I mean, my gosh, the cops got that guy in like 30 seconds, and how much damage he was able to do in 30 seconds because of the type of weaponry he was able to carry. So, that's a big thing, is get those out of the hands of people that are going to, do that much damage in 30 seconds. And kudos to the police officers that got him so quickly.
Yeah, and when you hear the comments from the emergency room surgeons, let's face it, they're not really trained to deal with what I call war-inflicted wounds from semi-automatic weapons like that. And then unfortunately our law enforcement comes up against these weapons all the time and puts them in harm's way as well as the public. So I don't know why anybody needs a military type weapon. That makes no sense to me.
Let them have all they want, just don't give them any ammunition.
Carry it around, right?
Okay. There's no clerk's report today.
Okay.
Board correspondence?
I would move that the reading be waived.
Second?
Any discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
Okay, see no other business at this time. I would move that we go into executive session for the reasons stated by the county administrator and by the assistant county prosecutor.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Mr. Lundy,
Aye.
Ms. Kukowski?
Aye.
Ms. Sueda?
Aye.
President's going to be...
Been a broadcast of the recent Lorain County Commissioners' General Meeting. Unless otherwise announced, meetings are held Wednesday morning at 9:30 at the Administration Building, 226 Middle Avenue, 4th floor, downtown Elyria. These are public meetings, and you are invited to attend. Agendas are posted prior to the meeting at www.loraincounty.us. click on Departments to see the Commissioners page. Then click on View Agenda for a printable copy of the agenda.